Obviously, I'm a huge Rolex fan. I've said it many, many times. I think you can't really go wrong with Rolex. But I wanted to share two pieces that are not Rolex. They're geared towards women. They're mechanical. And it's interesting because you have two pieces that are similar in appearance, but one is a little bit, these are both pre-owned. So one is priced out a little bit less than $2,000 and one is close to $20,000. And I'm sure everyone who knows and is watching will understand that the Patek on my right is the one closest to $20,000, and this Zenith, which is an automatic movement, is closer to $2,000. So the one that I think is a great starter piece would be the Zenith. It is called the Zenith Elite Ultra-Thin. It has a list price on our website of $19.50. An amazing value for an automatic watch. It's 30 millimeters and it's just extremely simple, stainless steel, great casual everyday watch. And I think you can also dress it up a little bit with this beautiful gray alligator strap. And then we have this Patek, slightly larger in case size. It's 33 millimeters, diamond bezel, and has a satin strap. It's definitely dressier, more expensive, and less of an everyday watch, although the Calatrava is super classic, so you can't go wrong with that. This one we have listed on our website for $19,950. This is a manual wind watch, and these two would be my picks on how to get your lady inspired to wear mechanical watches.
So last time when we were on together, we did get that question, how do I get somebody, how do I get my wife, my girlfriend, whatever, into watches? In my mind, there's sort of two different ways to go at it. The first would be giving her something she doesn't know, give her something she's not familiar with, let her do the research on it, let her figure out what she's wearing, and make it a conversation piece. So for my first watch, I picked a Nomos 563. It should pop up on the screen in a moment, but as you can see, bright colored dial, cool German, simple design, automatic movement, definitely a conversation piece. It is available pre-owned right now if you're interested. But again, I think giving her the opportunity to learn about what's on her wrist is the only way to get her educated and really immersed in the watch world. The other way, obviously, to touch and get somebody into it is to give them something they do know. And we all know Rolex. I think there's probably very few people out there that don't understand that the crown is king. Everybody knows it. So I actually brought a 36 millimeter Datejust, which I guess is really a unisex size. But in this day and age, I'd say that, you know, most women are wearing at least a 36. I wear a pretty similar watch myself. And I think it's a good watch to get a woman interested because it's recognizable. Again, her friends will start to notice that she's wearing a Rolex, that she's wearing something, and it will start the conversation. There's also something to be said about getting comfortable with wearing a mechanical watch, in particular automatic. As many of you know, automatic watches, they have an oscillating weight in the back, and it's something that if you're not used to wearing it, it is kind of an odd feeling. The watch can feel heavy, it can feel off balance. So getting her used to wearing that, I think, is the right way to get her introduced into the watch world and the world of mechanics. And again, this is just kind of a versatile watch. She could wear it every day, could dress it up. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with Rolex when you're introducing people into the watch world. And we can't go through a show without telling you about the cool watches that come in. Again, we see tons of watches come in through the door since we do a lot of buying and trading and whatnot. So Zoe, what's the coolest thing you saw come in this week?
So I think it came in on Monday. My colleague Josh Thanos, who joins Tim on his shows all the time, brought in this piece and brought it to me directly because he knew I would probably freak out over it the most out of everyone else who works with us. This is a GMT Master 1675, originally produced in 1977. It just has that awesome vintage look with the faded bezel. And the patina is pretty even on the dial, and this to me screams vintage watches, and I freak over it. So one day I'll probably have one in my collection, not yet, but yeah, this was the most interesting piece that I think we got in this week.
And it's not every day that you see a 5131 walk through the door, but we did receive one this week. For those of you that don't know, the 5131 is a travel time with a cloisonné enamel dial. I, a couple years ago, took an enameling class at a local school here in Philly, and you have no idea how hard it is to enamel something like this until you try. If you haven't ever seen how they do it, I suggest looking it up on YouTube or elsewhere, but basically they lay wires down, and then they fill it with powder, and then they fire it, and it takes a really long time. It takes so much detail-oriented work and a lot of patience, because if one dust flows into there and you fire it, that's the end of it. So a really rare piece. We don't see them come through every day, but it is so beautiful. Hopefully you can see kind of the texture of the enamel in there. Very cool piece, and I'm glad I got to see it this week, because it, again, not every day.
Yeah, they're both very special in different ways. The complication of the enameling, and then you have the whole, I think it's just a quintessential vintage watch. When people see that, they smile. It's hard not to like this piece. So yeah, very contrasting but special in very different ways.